All right, not hearing anybody wish to make a public comment. Next is consent agenda. What's the pleasure? Motion to approve consent agenda. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Motion's carried. Payroll change notices. We have A through G. Motion to approve A through G. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Motion's carried. Number 4, minutes or amended minutes of previous meetings for October 9th, 2024, October 23rd, 2024, and October 30th, 2024. Motion to approve the minutes or amended minutes as presented. All in favor, say aye. All opposed. Motion's carried. I'll go ahead and say that it's 10:05. We have a special funding request from the American Legion Post 31 requesting $2,000 for Mountaineer Boys State, Girl States program. Is there someone here to speak on that?
Sir.
Okay.
Philip Chancellor from the American Legion. I'm the director of the Riders Program from the state of West Virginia. If you're not familiar with the American Legion Mountaineer Boys State, the American Legion Rhododendron Girl State program teach our juniors citizen responsibilities and citizenship and participative government. Program costs over $100,000 a year to operate, and COVID has put a big dent in our participation. Went from over 400 a year to just over 200 last year. We're attempting to rebuild the funds so that no children are turned away for lack of the ability to pay for the week.
Patsy, any questions? Motion's been made to approve $2,000 for the American Legion Post 31 for Mountaineer Boys States and Girl States. All in favor, say aye. All opposed. Motion's carried. Thank you for what y'all do with the program. I think Boys State, Girl States over the years has shown that it's a very important program. Okay, moving on to 5, requisitions, purchase orders. All in favor, say aye. All opposed. Motion's carried. Number 6, exoneration and corrective tickets, joint property applications. We have exonerations. All in favor, say aye. All opposed. Motion's carried. Number 7, consider approval of project fund requisition for payment of cost associated with project to be financed from proceeds from the Series 2019 bonds issued for the Charles Point Economic Opportunity Development District, Series 2021 A and B Development District number 3, White Oaks Project number 2, and Series 2008 Charles Point Project number 2, North Band Land Improvements. We have A, B, and C.
Motion approved A, $5,425, B, $8,137.50, and C, $225.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Motion's carried. Okay, number 8, review, discuss, consider declaring the following addresses as an emergency nuisance within the framework of the International Property Maintenance Code ordinance so that emergency measures abatement can be commenced. Is there any further discussion? Do we need to hear from staff at all, Patsy? Are we good?
I don't.
I'm fine.
Okay, cool.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion's carried. Number 9, review and discuss and consider access and remediation letter agreement for A. Sheila and Michael Cottrell, 5289 Sycamore Road, Clarksburg. B. Donald Easberg, 5128 Garfield Street, Clarksburg. C. Elizabeth and Ernest Keysbecker or Keysecker Jr., 2337 and 2347 Wilsonburg Road, Clarksburg. You're up.
These are just letters that they are letting us go ahead and tear down their home. That's been submitted to the DEP to get it tore down, and they have agreed to let us do that.
Okay, and Trey's been through them and we're good.
Yes,
Where is Garfield Street? That's a Chestnut Hill.
no, this one's not. This is in,
It's a county?
yes, it's out in the county. I think it's like out towards, Hepzibah area, Gypsy area.
Okay, the thing, the piece now is, you know, to me, 911 says that we have 2 roads now.
Yeah.
Okay, motion to approve APC.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, motion's carried. We'll back up to 1010 special funding requests for Northern Appalachian Coal Mining Heritage Association requesting $1,500 for interactive exhibits and educational programming. Is there someone here to speak on that? Okay,
Executive Director for the Northern Appalachian Coal Mining Heritage Association. You know, that's not close to the national. The funding request is for some exhibits that everyone's put in here at Clarksburg. We're actually working with you guys at CDB as well as the Clarksburg History Museum to establish those exhibits. Currently, Mackin Hall operates in 6 counties, but we only have exhibits in 1 of those counties. So one of our goals for 2025 is to establish exhibits in all 6 of our counties, including communities and counties. Other than the interactive exhibits that we're looking to establish, we are starting up a new educational program. It's going to be a travel and trip program for schools to be able to essentially rent these travel and trip, which will include curriculum for a week long or 2 or 3 days long, however, or whatever suits the school's best needs. And it's just going to be a way for students to learn about West Virginia history as well as the coal mining heritage here in the coal fields here in North Central West Virginia.
okay, thank you. Patsy, you have any further questions? We have a motion to approve $1,500.
Yes, motion to approve.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion's carried. Okay. Moves it on to item 10, review, discuss, and consider requesting ethics advisory opinion related to chief deputy administrator job posting and hiring process procedure. I think I would like to see us request an ethics opinion on this particular item. It's the best approach for the county. The Ethics Commission approves everything. It's like getting an insurance policy. And if the Ethics Commission disapproved, then the county knows what steps to be directed, to be taken. And before this is completed, it should be discussed with all the prosecuting attorney and her involvement as the lead county attorney. So, Patsy, do you have anything that you would like to add?
Yeah, Commissioner, I believe we've already been down this road, and I don't want to put any stuff up there going towards something that we've already made the fund for. And I see no reason that we have any more dollars. Please put it to the floor for a vote, and, but I'm not gonna.
Commissioner,
So-
I believe the county administrator has something to add.
Okay,
Commissioners, I just want to see if you had any questions. I know we just wanted to reach out to ethics to give their opinion on this matter, because that is what they're there for.
Patsy, I don't think this is be the same. I know you're referencing another time that we did look at this for the ethics, but I think this one's a little different. It was outside of two departments, and this is within the same area. And it's also, if you look at our handbook, I think that the commission should, if the ethics commissions approves it, then we know then that we are protected by the ethics decision, and then we don't have to worry about anything going forward. If we don't, then we could be opening ourselves up to issues. And it doesn't cost us anything other than to make a request to the ethics. We don't have to pay them. It's a matter of sending a letter. And I just think that it's good business to make sure that we're making the right decision. So I'll make the motion to ask staff to have the Ethics Commission look into the issue and to get back to us as soon as possible with an answer on this hiring. At no cost. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion's carried. Number 11, review, discuss, consider increasing engagement letter threshold with Steptoe and Johnson. I'd like to go into executive session. Tommy's here to discuss why we need to do that and why we're at that point. So if I could get a motion to go into executive session.
I'm not going to anything. We can have to talk about this on the floor. As far as I'm concerned, if you want to get that, I think we're going to make.
Well, I would say it would be. It would be difficult. It would probably not be appropriate for me to describe the work that's gone in up to this point and the current status of that in an open meeting. So if part of the consideration of approving additional amounts under the engagement is to determine the status of the engagement, I'm not really in a position to discuss those matters right now in an open meeting.
So again, ask Patsy, you're willing to go into executive session.
Sure. I don't want to do something to approve the $3. It's going to take for something more. With Tommy and Stephen Johnson about the benefits of the ticket.
And how much is that? And we're about to go down a slippery slope here, Tom. So I mean, I apologize. but
Yeah.
If that's the choice that we're going to drag all this out into the open, then we'll drag it all out for the public to
I would
and the
say,
other attorneys to enjoy.
given my understanding of where things are right now and the amount of work that I would think it would take to get some reasonable resolution, I would say $20,000.
And that would come out of this month, right, Tom?
That comes from the county's,
Comes right out of the
that
county's
comes out of the
pocket,
county's pocket.
same way the 65 did.
I'll make the motion, but we get the additional $20,000 from it. Which you continue to do the diligent work that you do. I believe it's the commission that asked you to do the extra work that you do.
I'm doing the work under the existing engagement letter, and that's still a pending matter, which is why the need for the additional work, it hasn't been resolved yet.
With the work that you do, is because the commission asked for work to do.
Correct.
So what's this additional work for?
So there has been, so with the Mon Health proposal on the property on the other side of Menard, south of Menard, for the trustee to grant the releases of CED assessments and deeds of trust and other liens associated with allowing that to move forward. That is part of a larger overall agreement tied back to restructuring the bonds that both parties being the developer and the trustee want at least a framework for a global resolution of the bond restructure in order to grant the releases to allow Mon to move forward. There's a couple of sticking points there's been proposals back and forth regarding that restructuring between Genesis Partners and the bondholders trustees council. And there are a couple of outstanding issues as described to me by developers council that's involved in these discussions, that there's a couple sticking points. It's possible to get them resolved, but needs to be further discussion.
Where are the sticking points?
So one, as I understand it, is that the front 20 acres on the north side of Menard, subject to an existing joint venture arrangement to develop that property with Interstate Retail. Developer has proposed to transfer that property to the trustee to help further that development. And my understanding is the trustee's attorney wants to make sure that the existing arrangements with respect to that parcel, realtor agreements, the other party to the JV, that sort of thing, can be amicably addressed so that that property can move over either free of those encumbrances or in a way that's acceptable to the trustee. The other one, as I understand it, is with respect to Mon and the timing of the releases, that there would be some interim steps as far as how that would proceed. And it wouldn't be done, all the releases granted up front, but that it would be done in increments. And then with the goal that an ultimate closing, that those liens would be released. That's my understanding of those two sticking points on that. The other would be the freedom of information FOIA request that's been received from the trustee's attorney by the county commission and the EODD board. And Trey is taking the lead, responding on behalf of the county. I have been taking the lead, responding on behalf of the EODD. That initial production of documents occurred by the EODD last week, but there's still a smaller piece of that needs to be done to produce those documents. I would say those are the main things I'm aware of right now.
When you say the EODD, then you've been going over their FOIA request. Was that part of the 65,000 that we authorized you? And it did cover that authorization for you to do their work?
It did.
And how much money have we spent on the EODD authorization?
Oh, I would say probably 10,000.
And how close are we to getting an agreement with all these people?
It's hard to say. I mean, this thing has been start and stop over a period of many, many months. And so at this point in time, it's difficult for me to predict the next moves of the different parties involved. The part of the problem is the county has very little. It's really a negotiation between the developer and the bondholders, with the county being a party that needs to ultimately be agreeable to what happens. But the nature of the sticking points are such that there are things that really need to be worked out between the developer and the bondholder. And the county, if they can come to agreement, then the county needs to figure out whether it's comfortable. So the county's a little bit on the sidelines right now, other than for me to review their proposals and then make sure that there's something that can be done by the county, something that makes sense for the county.
So we're gonna have $85,000 in something that we don't have control over,
Potentially.
but you don't know if the 20,000 is gonna be enough to you. That's just to get us through now.
I've got to think that will get it to a point where they figure out whether there's an agreement on the bond restructure. At that point in time, I probably move off of this engagement into a different type of engagement where all the costs relating to that restructure would be paid out of the restructure. So I would say within that 20,000, we would know whether or not we've got a deal.
So if I'm understanding it, we're paying you to help restructure their bonds and make sure that they're giving us something to work with. Ultimately, for them to get together, and then when they get together, we have the potential to have you paid for going forward after that. But until that happens, the county commission out of our general revenue is paying for these,
Correct.
but with no guarantee that the two will work it out.
That's accurate. Yes.
And that's not counting anything with our present FOIA that we're doing or any other legal suits that are going on between the parties.
Correct.
So by giving you this money now, what is that going to accomplish in the next 60 days?
I don't know about the next 60 days, but I would say by March, you're going to know whether or not there's a resolution on these issues. Because at that point in time, the property is going to be moving toward a tax sale, and there's nothing to be worked out at that point.
And you've used up all that we've given you so far, pledged?
Yes. The materials I brought to go over an executive session would have dealt with. I worked with the trustee's attorney to produce a proposal that he wanted to produce, but that was working with MuniCap on numbers as to what that would look like and structuring that in a way that's compatible with what the district can do and under state law, and the proposal that he made. And then ultimately the current proposal and those numbers, we have a nice report from MuniCap that shows what those numbers are and how that modeling would look. And then the developer's last proposal, and what that looks like. And then I told you what my understanding of the two sticking points. So that,
Well, you have information that would help us make a financial decision that you do not want to let out in public. Is that what you're saying?
I just think that it would be nice for you all to know that information. But if you don't feel like it's necessary at this time, then obviously that's a decision that you all can make.
You can get the data later and tell him what that is, if you want to decide to sign on.
For sure.
And probably the bottom line is what we're really doing right now, we're hoping that this will be total of $85,000. We'll bring us up 500,000 square foot on down hospital. It'll create 225 jobs and in the interstate.
Retail development.
That'll bring us another 225,000. That will create B&O tax for the development and permanent fire service fees with tax dollars for the overall 1% that Bridgeport lives off of and continues to grow its beautiful city, right?
There's a tremendous amount of upside if resolution can be reached.
This is no different than anything we always do as a county commission. We do everything we can to create jobs. And we are, as you said, on the sidelines, so regardless of what information you have for us on our, we're just hoping that this comes to fruition. And if it doesn't in March, we know we're all shifting gears because we're potentially selling bonds for pennies on the dollar for somebody else to own and hopefully have the success that we're looking for now.
Yeah, the alternative is if you all don't have me engaged to review everything that's happening, then they come to resolution and between them present something to me, and then I come back and say, this is not something that can work from the county's perspective, and then we're back to square one. And we're running out of time for that.
We need to move forward.
Well, I guess my question is, if we're gonna pay you to keep track of that, when do you come back and let us know? Because maybe we don't want to go down that route. And you're telling me today you have information for us that shows whether or not this is financially viable, but we're gonna sit up here and make a decision today unless Mr. Treecost has been privy to this information, which I haven't, that we're going to make a decision to spend money based upon information that's never been discussed with the commission. Is that what we're saying, that you have information why this would work, but we're not gonna look at it?
Well, I'm certainly prepared to share it with you, but it's up to you.
Mr. Treecost wants to do it in an open meeting, so let her rip.
Okay.
He does, he thinks this is all public information, so. If I'm gonna make a decision to spend $20,000 or 40 or 50, I'd like to know.
For the record, Commissioner, you can meet with Tom if you want to.
I can go meet with him now, and if I can go meet with him now, so I can come back out and make a decision. Okay. I make a motion to put Harrison County meeting into recess for the next 15 minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item number 11, you made a motion to approve $20,000. Is that correct? Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Item 12, consider changing employee handbook part-time hours from 1040 to 1500 hours. Does anybody have why we're doing that?
Yes, sir. Currently in our employee handbook, we have it that it is our policy that once a part-time employee reaches 1,040 hours, that they are eligible for benefits and to become full-time. In turn, that has we have a lot of part-time employees that could affect their retirement, Social Security, and stuff like that. And it has been requested, and I would actually recommend and request as well that we change it to 1,500 hours. That way it'll give us a buffer and it'll allow those part-time employees to keep working without it affecting anything, whether it's their Social Security or anything in the background.
Motion approved as stated by the county administrators.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Item 13, review, discuss, consider county fire protection funding. Harrison County will be receiving $127,088.85 for distribution process. Should remain the same as last year. Any discussion?
And just for the record, Dave, Commissioner, it's just, we're dividing it equally amongst our fire departments. And motion to approve.
Laura, is that what we did last year?
Yes, that's what we did last year.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion's carried. Item 14, review and discuss and consider distribution process for opioid funds. Recipients could be reimbursed for expenses already incurred, or funds could be made available upfront to assist with initial operations and service programs. I think I wasn't here for that meeting, but it was a discussion that it was for reimbursement. And I think it's on the agenda to see if that's how the commission wants to do it, or whether they want to make the funds available and then get the reporting back.
Either put together however you want to do it, I'll support you. I think that in this situation here, as long as there's a paper trail, should we be audited? And of course, we have the right to do our own audit when we distribute money. I think it's okay that we go ahead and distribute the money, but put some sort of earmark on it that we have the right to, as I said, audit and that we do want a paper trail for every penny spent. But I don't think we get the money. I don't think we get the money out now.
Well, just so long as you understand, I'm not the one that came up with reimbursed. I wasn't here for that meeting. You and Susan discussed that. I think that we should give the recipients the money up front with
Okay.
the proper requirements, and I think we have a letter for them that they have to agree to give us proper information that we request over the period and to show how the money's been spent.
Correct.
And as long as they do that, I'm fine with that. If they don't, I think then we can begin the process to drag the money back.
Motion to approve as stated by Commissioner Evil.
And if I may say one thing for the recipients that are hiring someone, if any of this money is over 2 years, or if they were to come back, when additional funds are released, to obtain funds for additional years, the paper that we're going to have them sign does say, if we don't have the paperwork from the first year, the reporting information, you're not going to be eligible, most
For
likely.
the second time around.
Right, for the second time around, or for, even if it's, even if money here was promised for 2 years, they still have to give it to us, that reporting
On an annual
information.
basis.
Right,
One time on a second.
right. And I think and with these funds, the one difference between this and ARPA is that with the ARPA funds, no one hired anyone. It
Right.
wasn't like they had that immediate expense up front. So
I agree with both of you. Motion to approve as stated by the JD.
You got that? Do you understand what we're doing? You understand what we're doing? Okay, because the reimbursement is really hard for a group that doesn't have money to start out with, so
Now, I'm not being critical, Michelle, but we've got to get letters to all the recipients now.
she has it. Cause I've already been down that road with Game Changers. But we made them do the show that we were reimbursing. So, I mean, we actually took them a step farther than what we did, so. Well. All right, all in favor, say aye. Motion's carried. We kind of already did this one, Patsy, when we approved to pay that bill. It's 15, it's with Lumberport, where we told them we would loan them 180. It looks like they've used 159. Michelle, is there anything that we have to do other than come up with a loan document? And are we going to extend the balance to them, Patsy?
Yes, but I'm not sure any motion has to be taken here. This is sort of like you, as you stated, this is,
Yeah, we've already approved it. So I think we can just make this part of the record.
I agree.
So we'll move on to 16, review holiday schedule.
Motion with three holidays scheduled for second quarter.
No further discussion. Everyone for got enough holidays in there, Patsy?
David?
So we got enough of them? We need any extra?
How we get any work done?
All in favor, say aye. Aye, all opposed. Motion's carried for the holiday.
I know why we don't get work done. That's the one.
Okay. Well, be curious to see if the new governor is,
Once the cost is $8,000, every time he makes a decision, you feel good about himself.
yeah, he did give us a lot of holidays over his tenure. Consider commission meeting schedule. We have A, weekly, B, every other week, and C, the first and third Wednesday of every month.
So commissioners, we were trying to figure out the holiday schedule for next year. You know, we've had some different discussions I've had with each individually, and trying to figure out, the consensus is like in every other week or a twice a month type thing, whether it be the first and third. Going through the calendar and with the holidays and the way they fall, like if, for example, on the first and third Wednesday, like in January, because of the holidays, we'd only have one meeting. At this, going through it and you can see the calendar in front of you, I would recommend doing every other week. So we can make sure that we have all of our meetings and everything covered. Like, for example, in June, we have to have an extra meeting with the budget revisions that are due to the auditor's office. So like that was a month that we had to take into consideration to pay attention to, because if we just did the first and the third, we would miss that cutoff of the 15th. So it would be my recommendation to do the every other week schedule as presented.
Okay, Laura, if we did the first and the third, the worst case is we'd have to schedule a meeting to take care of other issues, would be the worst case scenario.
But that is correct as well. Yeah, we could always just schedule another meeting should any kind of issues come up. And the good thing though, if you would decide to go with the first and the third, I mean, it's a set, you know, the first and third Wednesday of every month you have a meeting, but it's whatever commission would like. Commission times would still stay at 10 a.m. Commission day would still be the Wednesday. And it just depends on the frequency that the commission would prefer.
Well, Patsy, we'll start with the first and the third. How you feel about that? I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Every other week.
Yeah.
Every week.
Saying that also, stop the canceling the meetings on holiday weeks. I don't know what on Monday or Friday holiday have to do with Wednesday meeting. I've always been confused on that. Government doesn't shut down on Wednesday because we have a holiday on Monday or Friday. We've made it, we've made it a lazy week.
So you want to make a motion?
Now I'll make the motion, can have a meeting every week, and cancel the formula that we do not have Wednesday meetings on holiday week. There's a difference if the holiday falls on a Wednesday, such as the 4th of July. But at the same time, 4th of July falls on a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, it's going to be long we don't have a meeting. And of course, that's good, if I had vacations, you know, special thing was got me home. Person county's bigger than I am.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. All opposed, no. Number 18, review, discuss, and consider. Oh, Patsy, I prefer the first and the third Wednesday. That takes care of all your issues with the holidays, and it just guarantees a date. And
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you, but I've done that before, and then I was told that I was killing our billing system because we were getting late fees.
and
I mean, I'm with you.
I agree with you on that, but I also am gonna smile at John and Laura that in 2025, we are going to nip that issue in the butt, and we're going to be like the rest of the counties that still only meet once or twice a month and get their bills paid. And John says he's ready to hit that, and I think the first and the third just makes it easy for public and everybody to know those are our meeting dates, and we don't have to worry about taking days off. I agree with you after holidays doing this, and we'll actually attempt to way we've set up, and I think John and Laura are working to get our bills paid timely. And we can work on other things that are more than important as commissioners during those weeks. So I think it'll allow you more time if you want to travel to Charleston and go find us more money. Or to go to Washington and find more money. So if I would make a motion for the first and the third and no days off after holiday.
And I think that. Agreed. Great. Motion to do as Commissioner Hinkle, first and third Wednesday, and no days off due to holiday unless the holiday falls on that Wednesday.
Yes, sir. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion's carried. Thank you, Patsy. Number 18, review, discuss, and consider budget revisions for county clerk.
Motion to approve first budget revisions.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. 19, review, discuss, and consider request to travel for Robert Leonard from the planning department to go to West Virginia Code Official Association Winter Seminar on December 4th and 6th in Flatwoods.
Motion to approve the December 4th through 6th travel for Robert Leonard.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion's carried. Administrators report.
I don't have anything for today, commissioners.
Thank you. Commissioners reports. Patsy.
Sure.
And I have none. So Patsy, if you will, all in favor, say aye. Sorry for the delay. I see while I was gone, cookies appeared.